10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
All right, we are live. Happy Thursday. Whole day in January, Thursday. So we have a very special guest that's with us tonight, and I'm so happy she's here. It's been a long journey, but you made it. Wendy Ramirez is in the house.
Hello.
It's like a tradition. You gotta do this. There yeah. That's a lot better. Okay. Raising the roof. Wendy just passed her real estate exam a little over a week ago, and she's here live on the real estate exam study group. Thank you, Wendy, for coming on. We're going to talk to you, and she's going to give you all the tips and tricks right after this. Well, thanks for joining, Wendy. It's great to have you on. It's always a really good feeling. It's like, gosh, I'm so glad you're here, because that means you passed your test and you're done with it. So we're going to talk a little bit about your journey. And Wendy and I were talking earlier, and I said this time of year, like, I like to work a lot because it's cold and crappy. And what else there's to do? So if you're thinking about getting into real estate, or you're still hung up on or taking your test, now's a great time, because you can get started today from scratch and have your license in the spring. So we have a great discount code for anyone that wants to get into Hondros at a 30% discount, and we'll share that below here in a sec. So, but Wendy, thanks for coming on, and thanks for joining us today. So we're gonna have we got some comments, we got some people high-fiving you and clapping for you already. So
okay, thank you for having me.
Yeah. Well, let's get started about you. Wendy, why don't you tell us a little bit about you, where you live, what's going on in your life?
Yes, my name is Wendy Ramirez. I live in Black Lake. I have 3 boys. I have a full-time job that make a little bit hard on the studying on the real estate, but you guys can do it.
Yeah, you work full-time, and
full-time.
So 3 boys, full-time job, but she passed her exam. So everyone at home, down below in the comment section, there is 30% discount for your tuition at Hondros. If you're thinking about getting into real estate, it's below there. So Wendy, when did you start? You went to Hondros, right? Because not everyone on here goes to Hondros, right? Okay.
Yeah.
When did you get started? When did you start your classes?
I start on November 2022.
22. Okay. So like 13 months. Okay.
Yep.
Then my next question is, did you went online, right? You didn't go into classrooms, correct?
I went half and half. I start in person, and then I switched because it was too busy and a little bit hard with the work. I went half of the time online, and then that's good for Hondro to have that you can switch it out for online.
Yeah, you can. So for everyone that's maybe it hasn't gone through it yet, you can do it both ways. You can go into class, but if you don't have time to go into class, you can do it what's called self-paced, which you can go online and do it on your convenience. Like Wendy, I mean, you have 3 boys, you work later too in the evening, right? Sometimes.
Yes, sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
So, like and then you could come home at 3 in the morning and do your studying. So it makes it kind of nice. So everyone jumping in, we almost have 20 people so far. If you have any questions for Wendy as we go through, put it in the comments in the chat, and she will answer them for you live. If you miss this, it's 7:00 Eastern time on Thursday. If you miss this, put the questions in the comments, and either Wendy or I can answer them later down the road. So, all right, let's get back to it. Why do you think, Wendy, do you think it's a good idea to take a year from the time you started, or if you had to do it all over again, what would be your recommendation for somebody who's getting started into it? If you could do it all over, how long would you take to get it done?
I definitely do it totally different. I don't wait that long. I prefer to go right away after the classes because it was a little bit hard for
Okay.
me after 10 months to, to go back and start study everything over again.
So did you, when you started back in November 2022, did you get through everything pretty quick?
Yes.
Like, did you get
Yes.
through all your classes within 3-4 months?
Yes. I
Well,
did.
that's good. Yeah, 2 or 3 months is perfect. And then you took a long lag.
I would no, I would 8 day, guys, for just to take the test. It was really stressful, but you guys can do it.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. She's talking about 8 days.
Yes.
So what happened was she applied for her exam, did her background check, and then you have basically 1 year from that
Okay.
time to get to take your exam. Well, you have to pass it, I guess, too, but to take your exam before
Yes.
you have to go through the background check again. And what happened was I sent you a text and I reminded you or something about it, and
Yes.
you checked it and you said, "Oh my gosh, I only have 8 days before I have to go through the background check." And that, do you think the fact that you were kind of pressed for time and you're back up against the wall, that made you buckle down more? Like you kind of had like a hard target date? So does that make sense?
Yes.
Like, okay.
Yes. Yes.
Do you
I
think that
find
helped you?
myself, yeah, yeah, I find myself thinking that because I had that stress of the 8 days, I had to do it. I had to take it or leave it, and I had to pass the test. And that pressure, I think, it
Yeah.
helped me to pass.
Yeah. Amanda Scales says, "Congratulations, Wendy." So throw that out. Hi,
Thank
Amanda.
you.
Thanks for being on.
Hi.
Yep. So, um, I think that's one thing that life can get in the way. Like I try to keep up with a
Yes.
lot of people and that's on the study group, and they, usually they'll say like, "Oh, like life, things happen." I don't know. I mean, we're all busy, I get it, teaching,
Yes.
running a business, and I have 4 kids. So Wendy and I, we could have a basketball team plus a couple people on the bench, you know. But, it can be, but I think the thing that helped Wendy was she didn't have many more time. Like, her time was running out, and it kinda made her get an end date, and that's one thing that we do when we work with our agents, is that we put them on a time commitment. Like, you gotta, you have this study time, but, when do you wanna have the exam done? And then hold them to it. It's just like anything, working out, everyone has to have targets and goals in line. It kinda keeps you straight and narrow, so how long, so if Wendy, if you could do it over again, do you think you should recommend people like, listen, you could have this, you could start Hondros or wherever. We'll talk about Hondros and then get it done
Mhm.
within 3 months? Is that would that be a good time period for you
Yes,
as a working
yes,
person, 40 hours? Okay,
yes. It's because you have
3 months.
everything fresh out of the school, and that's why I
Yeah.
recommend just to take the test right away, in no way like
Okay.
I did.
Got it. Okay.
It was worth it because I passed, but it was in the rush.
Yeah, you felt rushed, but yeah, you passed, and that's
Yeah.
all that counts. So,
Yes.
all right, well, let's go into the meat and potatoes. So, what are some things that you studied, or things that came up on the exam, maybe that you would like to share? Is there anything that you said, "Hey guys, I studied this stuff, and it really helped me pass the exam this time"? Is there anything in particular, or any tools that you used that you said, "Listen, I think you guys should use that. This helped me a lot."
Yes. When I went to the test, it was a lot of questions and answer that they are the same. A lot of they are the same. That you sometimes, because the timing, you don't know which one to pick. And then you can start by elimination, but on the end, normally on the test, is two that look alike. And then
Okay.
you have to think about it that you just going to, the test is for real estate. And then
Oh,
you have to pick the one that is close to make sense with the real estate. That's what
okay.
has helped me. I was thinking on the test about real estate. And when I was the confusion on those two questions, I said, okay, this is more sense for real estate. I'm going to go with that one. I know the answer,
Okay.
but I was confusing because there are normally two questions that are totally almost the same. They make the same and you make you confused
Mhm.
about it. Mhm.
So what you're saying, Wendy, is, if I hear you right, is there's 4 answers to every
Or
question, A, B,
answers.
C, and
Hmm.
D. Yep,
Hmm.
4 answers. You say, like, 2 of them are, like,
Two of them.
not totally not good. Like, you
No
can
good. Yes.
cancel those
You're
out,
racing.
and then
Yeah.
there's 2 of them that you're saying that they could be either one, like,
Tricky.
or, they're pretty close.
They're very
Tricky ones,
close.
okay. How did
Tricky
you
ones. Hmm.
was there was there some of them that how did you, were there some of them you just guessed, to be honest with you? Is that what some of them you just guessed you eliminated the 2, and then it was kind of a 50-50 situation?
Yes. And then
Okay,
one I was looking at the questions like for the right one, like talking more about real estate. And then that's what I pick. Just because they say they only care about real estate. This is the test for for real estate. And
okay,
then just go forward because they talk about it's a lot of questions about I don't have that much math. I have a lot of questions about contract, about commissions.
country, yep.
That was my main thing on it. It was like I count them because I was kind of nervous. 20 of the commissions, 20 questions.
Oh, really? Okay. Let's
Yes.
talk about math, because that's always one that people always ask
Hmm.
about. Do you remember how many math questions you had? You said you didn't have many. Do you
No,
remember?
I have four
Maybe
four
4?
questions.
Okay. Okay.
Hmm.
All right. So, um, usually the minimum I've ever seen was 5. So maybe you had 5. I don't know. Hopefully it's 4. That'd be
Yes.
great if they lowered it. I didn't
Hmm.
hear that they did, but not saying. So the math questions you had, because everyone gets scared about math, Wendy. The math questions that you had, were they hard?
Not really, because
Okay.
I was good on the commission ones, and those one that I is the one that I get
Okay. So a lot of the math questions that you had were about commissions.
commissions. Hmm.
Can you give us one example? Do you remember, like, just an example for people at home?
Mine was really easy. It was how much was the commissions? If I have if it a name, for example, Avan, buy a
Okay.
house for 320,000. What was the commission if he get 77%?
Okay.
Just easy like
Yeah.
that. I
So,
was I was so
yeah.
happy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kinda like 6th grade arithmetic, probably. I have
Yep,
a
yep.
daughter in 6th grade.
What was the commission
Percentages.
about? Yep,
Yeah.
percentage. Yep.
So, yeah, it'll be something like, if Wendy sold a house that was, sold for $100,000 and she got a 5% commission, what would be her commission check? Something like that.
Yep. Something
Or
like
they
that.
might go
Hmm.
into it deeper with, like, broker splits. If Wendy had a gross commission of $10,000 and she was 50-50 broker split commission with her broker, how much would Wendy end up with? What would be your net commission? So, and that's important. You don't want to know your commissions. One of the few things on the exam that you might use in real life. So, okay, well,
Yeah.
it was good. And I think I always like to cover math. That's always a hot topic for people. And again, guys, we are live. It's a little after 7 on Thursday. If anyone has any questions for Wendy, let me know and just put it in the chat and we will get those answered for her. So, But was there any tools, Wendy? Because you went a long time from sitting in a classroom at Hondros to take your
Yes.
exam. Was there any
Yes.
tools that you used during that journey that you said, I'm glad I bought those, or I utilized those learning tools because it really helped me at the end? Was there anything in
Ye-
particular? It just,
Yes.
yeah, what was those?
I bought the PSI system. Yeah, it was helping a lot. It was
Okay,
helping me a lot.
the PSI. All right, great.
Yep.
Um, and well, we that was a question we just got. I beat I beat her. All right. She said, which study materials did you use to prepare for the exam? So you use PSI. I beat you to it.
PSI.
I beat you to it. So the PSI. Now for everyone at home, that's on their website. Now, did you get the 500
Yes.
questions, or what did you buy through PSI?
I bought the one with the
Oh,
500 questions. Hmm.
okay. We got a lot of questions coming in. Okay, so you bought the 500 questions, and it's like $50, right?
$50. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And
49.99 exactly.
why did you like it? Why did you like the PSI study guide?
Because they give you the questions, the answer. If you are wrong, they give you the explanation and why you are wrong. And even if you're right too, they give you a lot of explanation saying why is this question.
Did you like it better than the Hondros CompuCram?
I do like it better because it's
Okay,
more convenient because you have it in your phone.
got it. Okay. Okay. Some people, did you notice, Wendy, that um it was it looks like the actual exam itself, like how it looks on your desktop?
Yes, yes, because they give you
Do you
the
know what I'm
answer.
saying?
Yes, they give you the question plus four answers to pick from. It's exactly
Yeah.
the same like the test.
Yeah. It looks like it. It's like
It looked
I
like
always
it.
say, and
Hmm.
it's redundant, but there's a lot of new faces on here I see, and thanks for joining, guys, tonight. But it's like I always call it like a video game. Like if you're practicing taking the test on your computer, and then they say, okay, this time it's going to really count. Then you're like, okay, I know how to click the buttons. I know where the timer is. I know how to like
Yes,
mark the answers. It just gets you a little bit more comfortable with it before you actually see it for the first time. It's like
yes, yes.
the layout, because sometimes there's
Hmm.
anxiety with the buttons. So, um, okay, yeah, we got these questions coming through. We're hitting them up before. So, yes, a lousy, yeah. She used the study PSI study
Yes,
guide. The 500 questions is like $50. There is a cheaper one out there. If anyone in the chat can let me know. There's one that's like 180 questions for like $20, $29. I don't know. Like don't get a pizza one night and buy the cheap one at least, because at least it gives you an idea um, of what the test really will look like and feel, I think. We got a anonymous Facebook user. It says, Wendy, did you use the CompuCram? Um, the Hondros CompuCram.
yes, I did, and I did, and I like it, and it help you. It help you to pass because it's similar to the test. But I do like PSI better just because
Got it.
the convenience to use it in your phone and to use it everywhere you're going.
Got it. Okay. We have a clarification. Alauzi says, I'm talking about the free one. It's a study guide, not the practice exam or anything. So maybe the free study guide that has some general test questions on PSI's website. Did you utilize that at all, Wendy, or you just paid
N-
the $50?
no, no, I never heard
Okay.
about the free one. I just paid. Everybody recommend me the PSI,
Yeah.
and I just
I
went
think
to it. That
there's
one.
Yeah. Yeah, and they've had to sell a lot of those lately because
Hmm.
everyone's using them and buying them. So, I think there's some free test questions. Um, Alauzi, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. I'm sorry, but I think there's some free ones on that PSI, but like just a limited amount. Is that the ones you're talking about? If you can clarify those, but any practice questions with Hondros or PSI will help you um, prepare. So, any other tools or any study guides and things that you utilized, Wendy?
Yeah.
Any?
Yes. Yes. I also recommend to write it down when you study. When you study, just write
Okay.
the main things, contract, all that. Write it down. It's gonna stick in your head a little bit better because I wait 10 months to do it, and when I went back to study, everything was in my head, back in my head, like a sharp. I just recommend,
Okay.
and I was
And this
using
might
that. I was
segue
using
to
them. Hmm.
you because we have another question. Was did you study the vocabulary? Now, vocabulary usually means like we call them the key words when I teach. We teach it at Hondros.
Hmm.
Is that what you were kinda doing? Like, you wrote down, like, you were writing down the keywords, and it was helping you remember, like, the definitions? Is that what you were doing, Wendy?
Yes, yes,
Okay,
yes, definitely.
okay.
Because if you don't do the vocabulary, you kinda get stuck on the test because how they word the test is totally different than PSI and 100. The word's totally different. It's the same, but they use tricky words on that
Mhm.
to
Yeah,
trick
the
yourself. Hmm.
keywords are important. I know
Hmm.
with Hondros, they sell the big stack of, um, cards, vocabulary cards.
Hmm.
That's what I think we call them vocabulary card. There's a lot of them. There's almost too many of them. There's a
Yes,
lot, and it can be very intimidating,
yes.
but there's certain chapters that you really gotta know keywords. And be Now they did change the test around in 2019. When I took it, if you memorized keywords, you were gonna pass that exam. You can as long as you memorized them. Now you kinda have to have more applicable, but, I'm with Wendy.
Yes,
You gotta know your
yes.
keywords because if you don't, you're gonna be in trouble. Um,
Yep, you're gonna forget everything on the test because the test is intimidated and you're gonna get nervous, even if you're
yeah.
not a nervous person because the timing. Another point is take your test, the comprehend, and with the time because that was another thing that was intimidating me because I was looking about the time on the test. I said,
Oh,
"Oh my
okay.
god."
Did you run out of time,
I
Wendy?
didn't. I
Okay.
No,
How
no, I
much time
didn't.
did you have left after you were done? Do you remember? Like
Yes,
10
yes.
minutes, 30 minutes?
No, no, I had 30 minutes to go back.
You had 30 minutes?
Yeah, I had to
Wow,
go
okay.
because
That's pretty good.
I was studying. I was studying like with the time. I was timing myself doing the test. That way, when I went over there, I had the time to go back and check.
Okay. Are you a fast test taker?
I do, but it's you had to
You
read
think you
it
are? Okay.
really well. Yes, I am.
Yeah. So, when you said read it, this is a good tip. How many times would you read
Hmm.
each question?
2 times because
2.
if you read it more than 2 times, you will spend a lot of time on the question, and
Yeah,
the time
that's
is
perfect.
running out. Hmm.
I love it 2 times. And you're
Hmm.
bilingual, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah. So, I mean, but I don't, English is my first language. I better read it twice because it's tricky, right? They trick you.
Is this? Oh yes,
Mhm.
they trick you very very well. They trying to, but you can do
Yeah.
it.
But, Wendy's reading it twice, taking her time and she still had a half hour left. So take your time, read each question at least, twice. Don't read it 5 times. That you just start getting all over the place.
No.
Yeah,
Yes.
just twice. And then if you don't know it, you can mark it and go back to it. K Wall, who was on 3 weeks ago, what he did, he didn't do any math. Every time he got to a math question, he marked it and moved on because he was worried he was going to get frustrated with math. So you can mark your answer and then go back to it. So it didn't throw you off. It didn't get you frustrated. So like Wendy, she had a half hour left. She could have gone back and
Yes.
took half the test over again. Within
Yes,
a half
because
hour, if she
yeah, what I did was read it twice, answer it, and write it down the questions that I need to go back. It was
okay.
like 25 that I had to go back, a half hour to go back. And then
Oh,
I
okay.
went back and checked. That was my key that I did in this test. I just went twice, answer, but I write it down, the one that I wasn't sure. I wasn't 100% sure. I just want to go back and check. And then when I finish that, I see, oh, half hour. Then let me go back and
Did you
check
change
those 20.
did you change any of the answers when you went back?
No, no, I
Good.
didn't.
Do you know why
I didn't.
it was good you did?
Because you know how they say follow your first instinct.
Yeah,
And then
that's
when I
it.
went back, yeah, and when I
Yeah,
went back and I was following my instinct and it was
yeah,
right. I
yeah.
leave it like
If you take the time, legit, take your time,
that.
look at it, process of elimination. You have 2 choices at that point, and then you say, I think this is it. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure. Then if you go back and you start changing all your gut instincts again, I promise you'll fail. I hear it every
You
time.
fail.
Yeah.
Yep.
I got a couple questions coming in for you. Um, Alazi says, um, I wish I could show you guys what I'm talking about. It's literally a study guide. It tells you what's going to be on the test and how much of that subject is going to be on the test. Is that through PSI, Alazi? Maybe he can, or they can answer there. Is that literally on PSI's website? So I guess the answer is no. She did not use that. But let us know if you saw a study guide on PSI's website. Let us know because I don't know. No one's talking about it. I'm not saying it's not the greatest thing in the world. If it is, let's share it. That's what the community's for. Got another one. Facebook user says, "How many questions, Wendy, did you get?" I don't know. Is that
90.
the score? Is that your score, or are you asking how many were on the actual exam? Because one thing we don't do here, we never ask what the score was. That's a jinx. We don't do that here. So we don't ask. I don't ever care. I don't care what you get unless it's a fail, then we go through it. But I think let's say maybe they're asking how many was on the test. Did you have a 90 question exam, Wendy?
90 questions.
Now, some of you pros at home might say, no, it's not, Wendy. It's 80. You're a liar. It's 80. Not always. Kate Newbold, was on here, I don't know, 2 months ago. No, it's been more than that. September, October. She had 90. Not all the time. Wendy, can you tell everyone home? Do you know why you had 90? Do you know why?
No, no, I don't know why I have 90.
Okay. You were unfortunate. But what happens is the state of Ohio puts in 10 practice questions. And what they're doing is they're testing it to see how well they will hold up on future tests. So you were kind of a guinea pig. You don't know which ones they are. You don't know if you passed it or failed it or whatever. They don't count against you, but you do have to take them. And but the problem is it does go against your time. So, so if you cut it close, which you didn't, Wendy, then you could have got stuck. So that's why you had 90. But the national exam is 80. You have 2 hours to take it. Okay. So,
Yes.
All right. Well, great questions, guys. Nice on a cold Thursday night. Well, let's, I guess, oh boy, we're way over. Jeez, Wendy, that's good. Well, let's do this. What about, is there anything as we kind of finish up? If anyone has any last minute questions for Wendy, we appreciate her time tonight. Go ahead and answer them. I'm going to kind of answer more of a last question. Was there anything that you said, listen, guys, don't do that. Don't study that. You're wasting your time, because everyone are busy. We're all busy, just like you, Wendy. And I think that's why a lot of people don't take their exam, because they're just too busy to study all that material. Is there anything that you could say, I wasted a lot of my time doing this? Don't do it. Or I made some mistakes. Don't do it that way. Is there anything along those lines?
Yeah, the main thing is don't wait that long after you take the class. That's my main thing. Don't wait that long after you're taking class. And about the study, you know, I was filling a lot of questions on the books on Hondros, and then I was just confused sometimes when I answered them, even if they had the answer in the back. Just go over to the CompuCrams and PSIs, and that's my recommendation.
Okay. Did you take the Kramer at Hondros?
Yes, I did.
You did. When did
Yes, I did.
you take that?
I take that
when
after.
Did you take it?
Right after the classes.
Okay, so you didn't take one recently. You took one about a year ago. Got it.
About a year ago. Yep.
Okay. Got it. All right. I think that's important. We put that in our study prep class. So, but we got a lot of people. Anna says, congratulations, Anna Rodriguez. I think you know her. Do you know who she?
Yes.
No? She one of your friends? Okay.
Yeah,
A lot of people say she'll do great. Anna says congrats. So, all right. Well, any last questions for anybody? So, but again, below if you're thinking about getting in real estate, guys, now's a great time to do it. We're going to put in a discount code below, 30% off on your tuition at Hondros. You can get started today and get done by spring. So, well, Wendy, we went over on time, but you did great. You got a lot of fans out there and you helped a lot of people. So we really appreciate it. So have a wonderful rest of the week, guys. Thank you, Wendy. We'll talk real soon.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And,
thank you, guys.
Thank you guys again. And we'll see you next time on the Real Estate Study Exam Group. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Bye.